Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is your Vedic astrology coach, Rajat Kapoor, and welcome to my channel, The Legit Astrologer. In my channel, I make videos on Vedic astrology. Most importantly, I talk about transits and how these transits have an impact on all 12 ascendant signs. Wishing all my friends here a very happy and prosperous Diwali. May this Diwali bring a lot of peace, joy, and fill your home with prosperity. Today in this video, I'm going to talk about Mercury's transit in the sign of Scorpio that is happening on 29th of November, and this is a long unusual transit of Mercury because it is going to stay in the sign of Scorpio for more than 2 months, because this time towards the end of the year Mercury is going retrograde once again. So Mercury's retrograde is not something which is new. 2 or 3 times in the year Mercury goes retrograde for a brief period for about 20 days, and this time Mercury is going to go retrograde on 26th of November. So Mercury enters Scorpio on 29th of October and it will stay here till 4th of January 2025. This transit is quite long, it is more than 2 months. In this video, I'm going to focus on its direct transit in the sign of Scorpio, which is going to last for close to a month. So towards the end of November, it will go retrograde for 20 days. So it is spending considerable amount of time, which is quite unusual for Mercury. Mercury as a planet is fast moving. It makes the quickest transit compared to all the other grahas besides Moon, which makes a transit from one sign to the other in about 2.5 days. Mercury usually takes about 20 to 25 days to make a transit from one sign to the other. So it is used to moving in a fast pace, moving in a rapid pace. What retrograde does is, because of this notion, it slows down its pace. So therefore, it becomes a bit uncomfortable for Mercury. Now let's understand what is Mercury's karma in the sign of Scorpio. So the first few minutes I'd like to talk about that. Then of course, Mercury is making some very important connections during this transit by the virtue of aspect and conjunction. So Mercury's karma in Scorpio. Mercury is the natural third house ruler and the sixth house ruler. It rules Gemini and the sign of Virgo. So it plays a very important role in growth of individuals. It rules puberty from a childhood perspective. It is also a childlike planet. It is the prince. It is the significator of intelligence, knowledge, and it is also linked to management. It rules communication. From a body perspective, Mercury rules our skin. Mercury is a very self-centered graha because it gets exalted in its own sign of Virgo. So it is selfish. It easily gets influenced by other grahas, and it is advisable for Mercury to get influenced by some of the good grahas such as Venus, Jupiter, so that it could elevate its quality and deliver results in an optimum manner and a positive manner. Scorpio is a watery sign. Mercury is an earthy planet. So when earthy planet moves into the watery sign, and Scorpio is deep, dark waters. So this is a sign of nurturing. What kind of nurturing? I'm going to talk about that too, because Scorpio is a very dark sign. It's a very karmic sign. It's a difficult sign. It's got difficult, complex energies. The reason for that is it has two lordships. Scorpio is ruled by Mars and also Ketu, which makes it a bit complex from a karmic standpoint. Scorpio is the natural 8th house of the Kalpurusha Kundali, which rules longevity. It rules transformation, deep transformation, all those things that are hidden, secret places, research and research related subjects. It also rules our self-awareness. It rules all the deep, dark places in the world. From a transformation point of view, Mercury does well in this house, but it is an inimical sign for Mercury, so it is not one of the most comfortable places as far as transit is concerned. Mercury's karma in Scorpio. Mercury is a fast moving planet, so it delivers quick transformation, and quick change is something which it would look forward to as far as this particular transit is concerned. Since Mercury rules intelligence, it is also the significator of learning. All the primary education is ruled by Mercury. The communication is ruled by Mercury, and Scorpio is the sign related to research, related to hidden subjects. Therefore, we could say that this is an excellent time as far as gaining knowledge of research related subjects is concerned, or where you could apply some research. You could also learn Jyotish or astrology during this time. This Mercury also has a karma for self-awareness, particularly those things which you are not aware of, other people are aware of. So therefore, Mercury in Scorpio gives a kind of message that you need to understand yourself by the help of other people. So take feedback, accept feedback, and at the same time solicit feedback from other people, which could help you uncover some of those strengths which you are not aware of, but other people are aware of. It could be quite vital for you. Mercury in Scorpio also brings in mood swings and shifts in moods or shifts in behaviors, and this could be quite frequent in nature. This might be a bit detrimental towards relationship because Scorpio is naturally placed second from the sign of Libra, where we see relationship and partnership from, because this Mercury brings a very self-centered approach as far as relationship matters are concerned. So one of the key message for us is to practice humility and stay grounded as far as relationship is concerned. During this transit, Mercury will come in contact with Sun. Sun is going to enter the sign of Scorpio around mid of November, and during this time Mercury is going to form a Budh Aditya yoga with Sun for half of this transit. This is a yoga for intelligence, for learning, and at the same time this indicates that we must be conscious of learning and applying in research related subjects. So this is quite an excellent time to do any kind of research. So it could be research in sciences, it could be research in any form of education, or anything that could be related to your work. It could be quite beneficial for you. This Mercury will also be aspected by Jupiter. Jupiter is retrograde in the sign of Taurus, and it has full 7th drishti on the sign of Scorpio, and it is quite powerful at this point in time because Jupiter is retrograde. So Mercury has that support, the wisdom. Jupiter's 7th aspect is about desire. So it desires you to channelize your intelligence, your learning in a way that could transform you for better. See, transformation is always painful, but the fruits and results as far as transformation is concerned towards the end of the day makes you a better and a much stronger person. Mercury will also be aspected by Saturn during this time by its 10th aspect. Saturn and Mercury share a friendly relationship, and Saturn's 10th aspect is about growth. Growth related to your karma, growth related to your actions in the society, those things which could work out for you as far as your job is concerned, your profession or your duties is concerned. Saturn signifies duty. Its 10th aspect is about firstly understanding what your duties are, and at the same time how you could grow yourself professionally. And this aspect again is about, by your research and analysis, by the virtue of learning about unknown things and the hidden mysteries, you can apply some of those skills at your work and foster a successful career. So thankfully, in spite of being in one of the most difficult signs for Mercury, which is Scorpio, it has the support of Sun, Jupiter and Saturn, and these three planets will continue to influence Mercury for the majority of the time. So in case you're running through Dasha Antardasha of Mercury, Sun, Saturn, Jupiter, you're likely to be impacted by this transit. If you have any planets in the sign of Scorpio, in the sign of Taurus, you are likely to be impacted by this transit. If you're going through Dasha Antardasha of Mars, which is the ruler of Scorpio, or Venus, which is the ruler of Taurus, you're also likely to be impacted by this transit. Therefore, I expect this transit to have an impact on everyone. Mercury will be aspecting the sign of Taurus by its 7th aspect, and it has a mutual aspect with Jupiter during this time. Mercury desires wisdom. Mercury desires you to very quickly focus on your financial management, focus on wealth creating opportunities, and also if you could have a secondary source of income. This house also represents your kutumb, your family and your speech. So there could be also a differentiated approach which you could bring in your speech, wherein you mix your wisdom and your learning and how you could be successful as far as workplace context or workplace settings is concerned, because towards the end of the day you work for yourself and your family. So may we keep nurturing ourselves and our family during this time. Now let's talk about how this transit is going to have an impact on all 12 ascendant signs. As a physical level, you must read this transit from your ascendant sign. At the mental level, you can also read this from your moon sign. Let's start with Aries ascendants. For Aries ascendants, Mercury is the 3rd house ruler and the 6th house ruler, the ruler of your valor, efforts, your younger siblings, your communication, and the 6th house ruler, which is your daily routines, your deaths and diseases, things that you do on a day-to-day basis, your health and well-being, your intelligence. These two houses play a very important role in growth of individuals. This Mercury is making a transit in your 8th house. It is creating a Viparita yoga in transit because this is your 6th lord in the 8th house. So from that aspect, it is a good transit because eventually it will help you rise. It will help you come out of difficult times and become a strong individual as far as your personality is concerned and as far as your ability to support your family is concerned. This is your third house ruler, the ruler of efforts. So any efforts that you make in your transformation, it would be quite vital for you during this time. This is the kind of message that Mercury is giving you. So eventually you need to transform, you need to change yourself. Otherwise, be prepared as far as sudden ups and downs or sudden changes are concerned, because Mercury itself for you rules change that we see from the third house, and it is making us transit in the eighth house. So this could be a bit complex because later on Mercury is going to go retrograde. So one of the message that Mercury is giving you is to focus on your relationship, focus on your marital harmony, and communication is the key there. Listen to your partner, take their advice during this time, because there are energies of Mercury, Sun, Jupiter, Saturn all together influencing your eighth house. There is wisdom, there is hard work, there are resources, and then there is communication and your intelligence that is sitting there. It could be an excellent time for you to learn about Jyotish or astrology or any of the hidden sciences. You would need remedy during this time. Focus on strengthening your ascendant or Lagna Lord Mars that also rules your eighth house. Worship Lord Narsimha or Lord Kartikeya, or you could also worship Lord Hanuman during this time. Use mantras related to Mars or Jupiter during this time to gain most as far as this particular transit is concerned. This Mercury will be aspecting your second house by its seventh aspect of desire. So Mercury for you wants you to put efforts on how you can create a secondary source of income during this time. You would need a lot more efforts, but change is inevitable. So there could be change in your way that you deal with your finances during this time, or how you manage your wealth. And for that, I wish you the very best. Now let's talk about Taurus ascendants. What's happening with Taurus ascendants as far as Mercury's long transit in the sign of Scorpio is concerned. For Taurus, Mercury is the second lord and the fifth lord, the lord of your family, your speech, your kutumb bhava, wealth, what you consume, what you eat, how you store your things, and how you share your resources with others, particularly your family. Your fifth lord, lord of future, your creativity, mantra bhava. We see mantras from this house, we see children from this house, we also see corruption from this house, and we see progress from this house, positional success. This Mercury is making a transit in your seventh house of those people who are opposite to you. What you desire, your relationship karma, your partnership, any agreements that you make. Seventh house is not a very strong placement for Mercury because it gains directional strength in the first house, and in this house it is losing direction. So therefore you would need a lot more efforts, because firstly Mercury is in an inimical sign. It's a Karak Graha for you, it's a favorable Graha for you, but it's going weak. Secondly, it is in a house where it gains zero direction. So you would need to put in a lot more efforts as far as this particular transit is concerned. Thankfully, there is Jupiter going retrograde in your ascendant, which would ensure that you leverage your wisdom and power of decision making. That is something which is going to be positive. At least you will make the right kind of decisions. You will stay on the correct path during this time. So this is a bit of blessing in disguise for you. Now this Jupiter will be aspecting this Mercury by its seventh aspect of desire sitting in your ascendant. So one of the things that you have to be mindful of is you have to take care of your relationship during this time. Avoid quarrels, avoid arguments, avoid any kind of confrontation which could affect your overall well-being and which could affect your harmony, because Mercury for you rules your fifth house where we see love. So love should blossom. See, this Mercury is definitely forming a yoga, but it has gone weak. So you will have to spend conscious efforts in order to uplift this Mercury, in order to channelize. I expect the retrograde to go good for you, but the first couple of weeks you could face a challenge. This could impact your relationship. As in when the time would progress and Mercury goes retrograde, it will be a huge opportunity for you to mend your relationship, to fix these ties, and these ties could help you along the way in the long run. On a positive side, this Mercury is aspecting your ascendant, your first house by its seventh aspect. Mercury wants you to consciously work on your communication for your better future. your overall personality, bring a sense of management as far as your overall style is concerned, and it is an opportunity to improve the way you manage yourself and of course things around you. It could be related to your work as well. So that this is something which I would be encouraging you to look into more from a transformational point of view. Any mantras that you use particularly related to Vishnu, so you could chant the mantra Om Vishnave Namah during this time, because Mercury rules mantras for you. This could be quite beneficial for you, and for that I wish you the very best. Now let's talk about Gemini ascendants and what's happening with Gemini ascendants as far as Mercury's long transit in the sign of Scorpio is concerned, which is going to last till 4th of January 2025, particularly because it is also going retrograde in the sign of Scorpio. Mercury is your Lagna Lord, Lord of the Ascendant. So without a doubt, any Mercury transit has an impact on you. You cannot run away from this kind of transit. It's your Lagna Lord, Lord of yourself, your overall personality, who you are. It also rules your 4th house of your happy space, your comfortable space, your home, mother, your homeland, where you feel most protected. It is the house of compassion. We also see assets, real estate, vehicles from the 4th house. This Mercury is making a transit in your 6th house of daily routines, deaths and diseases, things that you do on a day-to-day basis. The ruler of your house, for example, if it moves in your house of daily routine, it is time for cleanup. Diwali is anywhere around the corner, so clean up your house. Do it yourself. That's a fantastic remedy for you. Keep plants. Mercury is associated to plants. It is in a watery sign, which is a significance and signal of nurturing. So nurture as many plants as you can during this time. It could be quite beneficial for you over the next 2 months. Buy plants and keep plants both outdoors as well as indoors. It could be quite good for you from a positive vibration point of view. Now Mercury naturally gets exalted in the 6th sign of the zodiac belt. So from that perspective, it does well in this house. This is your Lagna Lord that is making a transit in the 6th house. So the message for you is that competition is inevitable. You will have to compete. You will have to compete with others. Whether you will be successful in this competition or not would depend on your natal Mercury and the position of Mars. And if they're making a connection or a sambandha in your chart, then you're likely to succeed during this time. There could be a change related to job, because we see job from the 6th house as well. So expect some sort of developments, new project or a new assignment that could come your way. This Mercury will be aspecting your 12th house by its 7th aspect of desire, and it is making a mutual connection with Jupiter. It is also aspected by your ninth lord Saturn. So from that point of view, there is wisdom and there is a reminder of your duty of what you do on a day-to-day basis. Any spiritual practice that you take during this time will give you benefits. Start doing yoga, sadhana, meditation, or go out there in the nature, walk, run, do some exercise, do some physical activity to keep yourself active throughout the time in order to gain the most from this transit, and for that I wish you the very best. Now let's talk about Cancer ascendants and what's happening with Cancer ascendants as far as Mercury's long transit in the sign of Scorpio is concerned. For Cancer ascendants, Mercury is the 3rd lord and the 12th lord. It rules your valor, courage, your efforts, your change. Okay, it's the house of growth, your younger siblings, and also the 12th lord of expenditure, losses, your higher self-consciousness, your unlimited potential, your bedroom and the bed comforts, how you sleep and how good that is, the level of your self-awareness. This Mercury is making a transit in your 5th house of mantras, your future, your children, progress. 5th house is one of the most important houses of the chart, and your 5-11 axis is pretty active during this time. So this means it is an opportunity to create and earn wealth by the virtue of your efforts and by the virtue of your self-awareness. The more aware you become about yourself, you are likely to succeed as far as workplace settings or workplace context are concerned, because this time this Mercury is making a sambandha with your 2nd lord Sun, also with Saturn, and with Jupiter, and Jupiter is your ninth lord. This time period is also an indication for you to manage your budget, manage your expenditure, and do a bit of planning as far as your future expenditure are concerned. Do a budget exercise for you. This could be quite helpful for you because one of the things that you must do during this time is to save. This Mercury is aspecting your 11th house by its 7th aspect. Mercury desires renewed ties and connections with your friends and your ability to overcome any kind of opposition that you might face during this time. Use mantras to channelize the energy of Mercury. Either use a mantra related to Mars or your Lagna Lord. Chant mantras related to Krishna during this time. Worship him and you will be protected all the while, and for that I wish you the very best. Let us now talk about Leo Ascendants and what's happening with Leo Ascendants as far as Mercury's long transit in the sign of Scorpio is concerned. For Leo, Mercury plays a very important role in all wealth related matters, and it also shares a friendly relationship with your Lagna Lord, Sun. Mercury is the second lord and the 11th lord as far as Leo Ascendants are concerned, and it is going to be placed in your 4th house during this transit. It rules your family, your wealth, your ability to earn an income. That is also seen from the 11th house, your friends, your consumption, what you eat, what you consume, your gains. This Mercury is making a transit in the 4th house of your comfort, your home, homeland, your mother. This is the natural house of the moon. Mercury goes Maran Karak in the 4th house. It is like a death-like position for Mercury where it loses its significance because it hates to be in moon's natural house because it does not like the moon for obvious reasons, which is related to the history of Mercury and moon. Now in this house where Mercury feels weak, it is also in an inimical sign, so it is losing its significance, which is management, communication, your relationship with friends, your ability to communicate effectively with others, and also you have to take care of your skin because Mercury is associated to skin. So be careful of any skin related problems that you could be susceptible towards. That would depend on your ongoing Dasha under Dasha. Now on the brighter side, since it rules wealth for you, so there could be a comfortable opportunity for you. So what I mean to say is any efforts that you put at this point in time to earn an income, to start making more money or wealth, because Mercury is directly associated to cash as far as wealth is concerned. So there could be a flow of cash over the next couple of months. You could be incentivized, you could have a gain in your income. So from that point of view, it is quite a favorable transit, but this transit will put you out of your comfort zone. You might have to move away from your family as well momentarily. So this could be related to work related travel or for some other reason. So this is something which you must be prepared with during this time. It is going to be making a connection with your Lagna Lord Surya. So particularly the first couple of weeks, I do consider it as challenging, but as and when time would pass and Sun will join Mercury and they will be influenced and aspected by Jupiter and Saturn during this time, it is expected to get better for you. Mercury will be aspecting your 10th house by its 7th aspect of desire. So it desires you to leverage your communication at your workplace so that you can earn wealth, you can make more money, you could be incentivized, you could be awarded, and this is the kind of opportunity that is there for you. Chant Aditya Hridayam to gain maximum benefit as far as this particular transit is concerned, and I wish you the very best. Let us now talk about Virgo Ascendants. What's happening with Virgo Ascendants as far as Mercury's transit in the sign of Scorpio is concerned, which is going to unusually last for more than 2 months because it is also going retrograde in the sign of Scorpio. Now for Virgo, Mercury is the first lord, which is your ascendant lord and your 10th lord. So regardless of your Dasha Antardasha, this is going to have an impact on you. It rules yourself, your overall body, your personality, who you are, your inner and outer strength, your intelligence. Mercury rules your work, your karmas, your actions in the society, what you do on a day-to-day basis to survive in this world and to make a living, as simple as that. This Mercury is making a transit in your 3rd house of valor, courage, your change, growth. younger siblings. We also see Guru Upadesha, or the learnings and message that you get from your mentor, teacher, or guru, or even from your father. We see short journeys. We see initiation, something that we start going on a journey. That's seen from the 3 and 9 axis. Now, from a placement perspective, Mercury is the natural ruler of the third house. So this seems to be a good transit for you. It's your Lagna Lord any which way. It is going to support your efforts. Any effort that you make during this time, you are likely to succeed. So your 3 and 9 axis is pretty active during this time, which is indicative of starting a journey, starting something new. Change is inevitable because there's influence of Jupiter, there's influence of Saturn, and also Sun during this time. So change is coming. You need to be prepared and ready for it. Take a spiritual journey during this time. This is the only remedy that I can suggest you. It will be highly beneficial for you because there are a lot of planetary energies as far as your 3-9 axis is concerned, and this is in your best interest. This Mercury will be aspecting your 9th house by its 7th aspect of desire. Mercury desires dharma during this time, for you to leverage your intelligence and make wise decisions to protect your dharma, to be engrossed and of course involved in your dharma, to embrace it and do the best that you can at this point in time, because when it goes retrograde, it could be a bit detrimental as far as your dharmic pursuit is concerned. So try to hold that and strengthen it throughout the time, and I wish you the very best. Let us now talk about Libra Ascendant. What's happening with Libra Ascendants as far as Mercury's transit in the sign of Scorpio is concerned. For Libra Ascendants, Mercury is a Karaka Graha because it's your 9th lord. It's your Bhagyesha, the lord of fortune, your guru, father or father figure. Mercury also rules your 12th house, the lord of losses, expenditure, your higher self-consciousness, your ability to become more self-aware, your consciousness, and of course your bed comfort. Mercury is your Bhagyesha. It rules your dharma. This Mercury is making a transit in your 2nd house of speech, your wealth, your family, kutumbha bhava, your consumption, what you eat, what you consume. So from that perspective, expect some sort of changes as far as your diet is concerned. As far as what you eat, what you consume, you could expect quick changes from those pursuits, because this is your 9th lord, your dharma lord, and that is coming in the 2nd house. It is a wealth yoga in transit. You will have opportunities to make money, you will have opportunities to make wealth, but at the same time you will have an increase in your expenditure. This time period calls for conscious financial management. Make sure that you share your resources and your wealth with your family. The more you share, the more you give to them. So as a quick remedy, buy gifts for your family during this time. This could be quite beneficial for you, and you will be supported during this transit. This Mercury is going to be aspecting your 8th house by its 7th aspect of desire. Mercury desires transformation. Mercury desires you to be prepared for any unforeseen event, any sudden change during this time that could be detrimental for you, but you need to be prepared for it mentally as well as physically, and this could make you strong. Overall, I do not see a lot of challenges as far as this particular transit is concerned. At some point in time, this transit will give you an opportunity to improve your personality, to work consciously towards your personality and your decision making, because this is all about your transformation. You need to protect your dharma during this time. So make sure that you hold it in a strong manner. Any changes in your eating habits could be beneficial for you. So from health point of view, take a conscious and corrective step as far as this particular transit is concerned. From mantras point of view, either you use mantras related to Mercury or Venus. You can worship Lakshmi, Durga, or you could read Sri Suktam on a daily basis to gain the most from this transit, and I wish you the very best. Now let's talk about Scorpio Ascendants and what's happening with Scorpio Ascendants as far as Mercury's long transit in the sign of Scorpio is concerned. Mercury is entering your ascendant, so it is definitely bringing a message for you. It is your 8th lord and the 11th lord. It's not one of the most favorable planets for you. It rules longevity. It also rules your gains. See, 11th lord doesn't have a very good lordship. It is not considered the most auspicious planet, but here In this particular scenario, Mercury is entering your ascendant, and this is where it gains directional strength, or Mercury is Digbali. This would depend on the placement of your natal Mars, how that is placed. For most of the time, I expect this transit to give you good results, because Mercury is in the sign of Scorpio, wherein it has gone weak as far as the placement is concerned. Plus, there are blessings of the Devata during this time. Transformation is inevitable. Gains have come in your ascendant. The Lord of Gains is entered your ascendant, which is forming a yoga. This yoga, this Dhan yoga, is all about you would earn wealth by your own individual efforts, and by the virtue of your transformation. The more you change yourself, you will have opportunities to earn wealth and have an increase as far as your income is concerned. This Mercury will be aspecting your 7th house by its 7th aspect of desire. Mercury desires communication in relationship. There's a mutual aspect between Mercury and Jupiter during this time, and this Mercury is also aspected by Saturn by its 10th aspect, which is having a bit of a cold aspect on your ascendant. It is making you cold. Now, Mercury's job is to bring you out in the open, to make you more expressive, and also consciously work on improving your relationship by the virtue of your communication and wisdom during this time. And for that, I wish you the very best. Now let's talk about Sagittarius ascendants and what's happening with Sagittarius as far as Mercury's long transit in the sign of Scorpio is concerned, which is going to last for more than 2 months till 4th of January 2025. Mercury will also go retrograde during this transit for about 20 days. Mercury for you is your 7th lord and the 10th lord. It is making a transit in the 12th house. It's a natural Badak Graha for you, or Badakesh, because it's your 7th lord and you are one of the dual signs. It rules marriage, partnership, relationship, those people who are opposite to you, everything that you oppose in this world. So therefore, this is the Jaya Bhava. It represents peace and also war at the same time. Mercury rules your 10th house, which is the house of your actions in the society, your profession, your work that you do, and your ability to earn a living. This is making a transit in the 12th house of expenditure, of losses, of higher self-consciousness, your unlimited potential. So your Bada Graha going in the 12th house is good because it will reduce the obstacles. Mercury is weak, it is an inimical sign, it's in the 12th house, and it is being aspected by Jupiter. So Jupiter will have a greater say, which is your ascendant lord. So it's a relief transit for you because you would no longer encounter obstacles as far as this particular time period is concerned. So for those people who've been facing authority issues, issues from leaders, issues from some key people at the workplace, you are going to overcome those issues in the next couple of weeks and you will be relieved. Your workplace scenario or situation is likely to improve over the next few days. You would need to make some vital decisions as far as your work is concerned. One of the remedy that I would advise you is do some sort of self-awareness exercise for yourself to understand your strengths and how you could leverage your strengths to the best of your ability, because this is an opportunity for you to become more aware. This Mercury is aspecting your 6th house by its 7th aspect of desire. It wants you to communicate each and every day with whoever you come in contact with. The more you communicate, the more aware you will become during this transit, and this is the ultimate remedy for you, and I wish you the very best. Now let's talk about Capricorn ascendants. What's happening with Capricorn ascendants as far as Mercury's transit in the sign of Scorpio is concerned, which is going to last for a little over 2 months. For Capricorn, Mercury is your 6th lord and your 9th lord. It has 2 different lordships. It's your Bhagyesha, therefore it is an important graha. It also rules your 6th house of daily routines, deaths and diseases, things that you do on a day-to-day basis, your intelligence, your job, your competition. 9th lord of Bhagya, Dharma, fortune. It is your Bhagyesha. It rules your father or father figure, long journeys, spiritual learning, higher learning. This Mercury is making a transit in the 11th house. Any planet making a transit in the 11th house delivers good results, and this is your Bhagyesha that has gone into the 11th house of gains. So it's a blessing for the next 2 months. At least it will bring in a good closure as far as the year 2024 is concerned, because your bhagya will be supportive. You will be able to overcome opposition. If you've been facing issues with people, particularly those who've caused any sort of hurdles or obstacles in your life, you are likely to overcome it over the next few days by the blessings of Lord Vishnu. You must worship Lord Vishnu during this time. Use mantra Om Vishnave Nama, or you could chant the mantra Om Namo Narayanaya during this time. You will be quite benefited. Chant the mantra that you associate or that you're able to connect yourself with. You will be benefited. This Mercury is aspecting your 5th house by its 7th aspect of desire. Mercury wants you to focus on future planning, future goal setting. Chalk out the plans for the coming year. Focus on your relationship with your children. That would need attention during this time. They would need your communication. Your 5-11 axis is pretty active because there is Jupiter in your 5th house that is making a retrograde transit, and your Lagna Lord is also aspecting Mercury. So this is the kind of message which this transit is giving you, and I wish you the very best. Now let's talk about Aquarius Ascendants. What's happening with Aquarius Ascendants as far as Mercury's transit in the sign of Scorpio is concerned? Mercury is an important planet for you because it's your 5th lord. It is the ruler of future, your prarabdha. It rules children, and progress, positional success is seen from the 5th house. Also, corruption is seen from the 5th house. How well you could succeed. Mantras are seen from the 5th house. It also rules your 8th house of transformation. Sudden ups and downs, sudden changes, secret places, your hidden desires, and unearned wealth or income is also seen from the 8th house. Those sources which are unknown, and of course, where you put very little efforts but you get a lot in return. This Mercury is making a transit in your 10th house in the sign of Scorpio. Mercury is the significator, the primary significator of the 10th house. So from that aspect, it is quite a good placement, because if the 5th lord goes into the 10th house or 10th lord goes into the 5th house, it is a very powerful yoga that this Mercury is making by the virtue of this principle, and it is going to last for more than 2 months. This Mercury is also aspected by your Lagna Lord. Your Lagna Lord is aspecting Mercury by its 10th aspect, which signifies growth. Growth related to workplace is inevitable, condition you put efforts towards it. You use your knowledge and wisdom, because any connections that you make with regards to work related matters during this time, you're likely to build your acquaintance, you're likely to expand your network, and you're likely to gain more favors from your network. You're likely to gain more support as far as your network is concerned, and remember that your network is your net worth. This will help you bring in more opportunities as far as your professional life is concerned. So from that point of view, it's quite a promising transit. This Mercury will be aspecting your 4th house by its 7th aspect of desire. Mercury desires you to firstly declutter your house, because your 4 and 10 axis is pretty much active. There is Jupiter retrograde in your 4th house and a mutual aspect with Mercury. Jupiter will also be connected to Sun. So from that point of view, you need to declutter your house, you need to clean your house and bring in some plants. This could be quite beneficial for you. But work related scenario is definitely going through a change. You could have a new opportunity if you've been looking for a job change or a new line of work or establishing something new. This could be the perfect time for you to make use of these pursuits. And also, do not worry about retrograde as well. Even if you start something new around that time, it is good, because that depends on your natal chart. Particularly if you have a Mercury retrograde, this will be quite beneficial for you, and I wish you the very best. Let's now talk about Pisces ascendants and what's happening with Pisces as far as Mercury's transit in the sign of Scorpio is concerned. It's a long transit starting from 29th of October up till 4th of January 2025, and Mercury is your 4th and the 7th lord. It is the lord of your comfort space, your home, your mother, where you feel most safe and secure, and also your 7th lord of marriage, partnership, relationship, your harmony, those people who are opposite to you. So Mercury becomes a Badakesh for Pisces ascendant. Besides having 2 Kendra lordship, this becomes a lord of obstacle as well. So it has 2 roles to play. Now, whether it will deliver the results of the Kendra house, being that planet, or the Badak Graha would depend on its natal placement and the kind of Dasha Antardasha that you're running. So it could give two extreme results for Pisces ascendants. This Mercury is making a transit in your ninth house of Dharma, fortune, your father or father figure, right? Learnings from the Guru, long journeys, higher education, higher spiritual learning. So, from that point of view, it is forming a yoga in transit, but your relationship needs to be at check during this time. So, there could be some conflicting situation as far as relationship matters are concerned, because ninth house is third from your seventh house. So that indicates some sort of change or some sort of disturbance, because it represents karma from relationship. So that is something which you have to keep a check on during this time. This Mercury will be aspecting your third house by its seventh aspect of desire. So it desires you to get some Guru Upadesha, communicate with your Guru, get some blessings or message or advice from your mentor that could be quite beneficial for you. Since your 3-9 axis is active during this time, I would encourage you to go on a spiritual journey, go on a spiritual retreat, and try to connect with the Almighty, try to connect with the power in this world that is there. So you need to also protect your dharma, because the Bhadakesh has gone into the ninth house, which will create some sort of obstruction as far as your fortune is concerned, as far as your dharma is concerned. You also need to mend relationship or improve relationship with your father during this time. I would encourage you to, highly encourage you to pick up a course, learn something new that you can apply in your business, in your work, or at workplace settings. If you cannot learn something new related to your work, learn something which is linked to your overall interest that could bring a sense of mindfulness. Pick up a hobby and try to get some sort of peace of mind as far as the ability to overcome stress is concerned, and for that I wish you the very best. So this was about Mercury's long transit in the sign of Scorpio and the fact that it will also go retrograde. This was the first part. I will be making another part on Mercury retrograde. I hope and believe Mercury's transit in the sign of Scorpio brings a sense of rejuvenation, lets us focus on our priority, helps us learn and conduct a lot of research, helps us transform for greater good. Thank you very much. God bless you all.